Good afternoon everyone, how are you all? So I hope everybody is in the pink of health and happiness. So in today's class we are going to learn about human reproduction. As usual we are going to do the PYQs. Along with that we are going to learn the concepts. Everybody ready? So our first question is, select the correct sequence for transport of sperm cells in the male reproductive system. So it's 2019 question. So tell the correct answer. The first, select the correct sequence. We need to find the sequence for transport of sperms. So starting with that, is testis epididymis? No. And seminiferous tubule, rete testis. Yes, Kiran, very good. B, we'll just see rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, urethra, and urethral meatus. B for Bombay is the correct answer. No and no. So B for Bombay we got it anyway, correct answer. Which of the following depicts the correct pathway of transport of sperms? Again a similar question. Tell me. Rete testis, vas deferens, efferent ductules and epididymis. Which is the correct answer? Rete testis. Okay, not this. Rete testis, efferent ductules, epididymis and vas deferens. Isn't it? No, this is also wrong. And vas deferens here itself it's coming. Here this is also wrong. So this is C is the correct answer. Rete testis, efferent ductules, epididymis and vas deferens. Easy. The shaped terminal duct of the reproductive and urinary system in human male is terminal duct, the duct. Tell me. Is it urethra? Is it ureter? Is it vas deferens? Is it vasa efferentia? The shaped terminal duct for reproductive and urinary system. The both is very good. Yes, urethra. Arrange the following parts in human mammary gland transversing the route of milk ejection. So first it is actually the lobules will be there, in that alveoli will be there, isn't it? The alveoli give rise to tubules and the 2 to 3 tubules merge and form, this is alveolus. These are mammary tubules. This is mammary duct and here it goes and form the ampulla and here this opening is lactiferous duct. So now tell me, we need to arrange the following. The first is alveolus, mammary alveolus, this is one C. Okay, getting into mammary tubules. Okay, tubules now. Next mammary duct, CA. Oh, E. Okay, mammary tubules are here. Oh, okay. C is there. Okay, mammary tubules, that is E. Okay, E are there. Then mammary duct A and D, ampulla and lactiferous duct. Any doubts in this? So C is the correct answer. Yes. Now match the list. What is mons pubis? Mons pubis is a fatty cushion of cells covered by hair and skin and hair. So this is the mons pubis. What is clitoris? Clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure above the labia minora. This is correct. What is hymen? Hymen is a thin membrane-like structure covering the vaginal opening. So this is one. Labia majora is a fleshy fold of tissue surrounding the vaginal opening. So this is one. So we need to find A2, okay, B3, okay, C4 is the correct answer. Got it? Given below are two statements. The presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity. True? The hymen is torn during the first coitus only. Is it the correct answer? No. Very good, Kiran. So this is not the correct statement. It can be torn in many ways. Maybe horse riding or vigorous physical activities, exercise. It can torn in many different ways also, not in the first coitus only. So statement 2 is wrong. 1 is correct. We got the answer. 1 is true and 2 is false. A is the correct answer. Which one of the following is not a component of fallopian tube? Tell me.
Uterine fundus.
Yes. So infundibulum is there, funnel-like shape, ampulla, then isthmus. All three are the part of fallopian tube. Uterine fundus is not the part of fallopian tube. Given below are two statements. Vas deferens receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as a ejaculatory duct. Is it correct? Is it correct or wrong? Yes, correct. Very good. And the cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal and along with the vagina forms birth canal. Correct. So it is statement 1 and 2 both are correct. Both statement 1 2 are true. So we got before Bombay as a right answer. Easy. Arrange the components of mammary gland from proximal to distal. From proximal to distal, which means from the alveolus. Yes. Alveoli, C, okay. Alveoli, it's into mammary duct, CA. Oh no, mammary tubules, yes, C, E, then it will give to mammary duct, that is CEA, CEA. Before Delhi is the correct answer. CEA, mammary ampulla and lactiferous duct. Isn't it? So D is the correct answer. Capacitation occurs in. Capacitation occurs in where? Female reproductive tract. Very good. Capacitation of sperms, okay? Of sperms. Capacitation of sperms occurs in the female reproductive tract. Capacitation refers to changes in, is it ovum, is it anything related to the ovum or is it anything related to the sperms? It has something to do with the, not Surabhi, it was for the previous question you gave B? No. So it is not after the fertilization, it is sperm before. It is the capacitation refers to the changes of sperm before the fertilization, not after the fertilization. It has to undergo particular development before fertilization, not after. What is the use of after fertilization? Sperm ko kya? It doesn't, yes, very good Kiran. It is sperm before the fertilization, correct. Identify the correct option A, B, C, D. So what is A? A is FSH. What is B? LH acts on Leydig cell. L for L. LH Leydig cells. Okay. And what is C? FSH acts on Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells. This, okay. Fact is, this is spermatogenesis. No, spermiogenesis. Sertoli cells, yes. So it is spermiogenesis, okay. We know the difference between spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis, right? Spermiogenesis, it is, so it is FSH, A is FSH, B is Leydig cell, C is Sertoli cell, and D is spermiogenesis. Understood? So C is the correct answer. Arrange the sequence of different hormone for their role during the gametogenesis. Yes. Arrange the sequence of different hormones for their role during the gametogenesis. Tell me. Gonadotropin, LH stimulates synthesis and secretion of androgen. Gonadotropin releasing hormone from hypothalamus. Is gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus? Then tell. Androgen stimulate spermatogenesis. Gonadotropin FSH helps in the process of spermiogenesis. Gonadotropin from the anti-pituitary gland. But first is gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. It acts on the pituitary, release FSH and gonadotropins from the pituitary, that is gonadotropins here, FSH and LH will be released from the pituitary gland. So BE, then yes, very good. We will just see, okay. Gonadotropin, this release, gonadotropin LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of androgen, then androgen stimulates spermatogenesis, then it is gonadotropin FSH helps in the process of spermiogenesis. Correct, option C, very good. Given below are two statements regarding the oogenesis. Statement 1, the primary follicles get surrounded by more layers. Okay, the primary follicles get surrounded by the more layers of granulosa cells, a theca, and shows fluid filled cavity antrum. Now it is called secondary follicle. Is it correct? Wrong. Why it is wrong? Primary follicle, when it gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa cell, especially the secondary, when it becomes secondary follicle, there will be nothing called fluid filled cavity, that is antrum. Antrum will not be found in the secondary follicle. Antrum you can found in the tertiary follicle, otherwise it is a secondary oocyte, isn't it? So that is false. Statement 2, Graafian follicle ruptures to release the secondary oocyte from the ovary by the process of ovulation. Correct or wrong? Yes. So it is 1 is correct, 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect, but 2 is correct. How many secondary spermatocytes are required to form 4 million spermatozoa? It is, we will see, okay, spermatocyte, primary spermatocyte undergo, it will be one cell, right, it undergo meiosis 1 to form secondary, this is secondary spermatocyte. This secondary spermatocytes again undergo meiosis 2 to become 4 spermatids. This spermatids undergo differentiation to form 4 spermatozoa. What is this called? It is spermiogenesis. This process we call it as spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis. The whole process, what do we call? The whole process we call it as spermatogenesis. Now the question is, how many secondary oocytes are required to form 4 million? So it is, these are 4 million. How many secondary oocytes are required? 400 million, sorry, 400 million. So we require 200 million. Very good. So it is required 400, these are 400 million, so we require 200 million secondary spermatocytes. If the question is asked about how many primary spermatocytes are required to form 400 million spermatozoa?
100.
Yes. So it is 100 million. You got the calculations. Yes, very good. Which of the following statements are true for spermatogenesis but not hold true for oogenesis? It results in the formation of haploid gametes. Is it true? If it is spermatogenesis, it results in the formation of haploid gametes, and for the oogenesis, it results in the formation of haploid gametes. So this is true. Differentiation of gametes occurs after the completion of meiosis. So this statement, differentiation of gamete occurs after the complete meiosis. So here, after the complete meiosis, differentiation of gamete has taken place. So it has become the spermatozoa, then it will be going into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, and from there maturation, from the axillary ducts, maturation, storage, everything goes on happening, and capacitation also happen in the female reproductive tract. So everything is happening after the meiosis 2 only. So this is true for, this statement is true for spermiogenesis, but is it true for oogenesis? No, this is not true for oogenesis. So differentiation, we need to find which of the following statement are true for spermiogenesis but not hold true for, B is there. So which means you can eliminate this. Meiosis occurs continuously in a mitotically dividing stem cell population. Is it true for this thing, spermatogenesis as well as oogenesis? No, it is only true for spermatogenesis. Meiosis occurs continuously in the mitotically dividing stem cell population, isn't it? So we can take this also. It is controlled by the luteinizing hormone. It is controlled by the luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone secreted by the anterior pituitary. Yes, for both it is true. It is initiated at the puberty. Spermiogenesis is initiated at the puberty, but what about the oogenesis? In the fetus stage. So this is only true for, E is only true for spermatogenesis, not for the oogenesis. So we got B, C and E as answer, which means A is the correct answer. Any doubts in this question, particular question? Yes. At which stage of the life the oogenesis process is initiated? Which stage? Oogenesis. Adult, is it adult or at puberty or embryonic developmental stage or at birth? Embryonic developmental stage. Yes. Given below are two statements. Statement 1, the release of sperm into the seminiferous tubule is called spermiation. The release of sperm into the seminiferous tubule is called spermiation. Is it correct?
Option B.
Okay, we'll go through this thing. Okay, don't worry. So the release of sperm into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule is called spermiation, isn't it? Lumen of, which means in this particular this thing. So this these spermatozoa will be embedded into, will be embedded into the Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells. Okay, this is also happening inside the seminiferous tubule only. Okay, everything is happening in the seminiferous tubule. Okay, all remember the statement. Everything is happening inside the seminiferous tubule only. So before spermatozoa, from the spermatid, spermatozoa, this is called spermiogenesis. Spermatozoa will be embedded in the Sertoli cell for the nourishment. From the Sertoli cell, from out of the Sertoli cell, they come into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. They come into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. That is called spermiation. Now again read the question. The release of sperm into the seminiferous tubule is called spermiation. They are already in the seminiferous tubule, na? What is into the? So it is a lumen of the seminiferous tubule. That should be the question. So which means this is wrong. The spermiogenesis is the process of formation of sperms from spermatogonia. Spermiogenesis is a process of formation of sperms from spermatids. Spermatids, isn't it? Spermiogenesis. What did I tell you? From the spermatids, formation of spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. This is pura spermatogenesis. This particular process is called spermiogenesis. Again read the question. Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of sperms from the spermatogonia. Is it spermatogonia? Formation of sperms from the spermatogonia is called as spermatogenesis. They have asked about spermiogenesis, which means it should be from the spermatids. Any doubts? So both the statements are wrong. Both 1 and 2 are incorrect, which means okay, this is the correct answer. Note option B. Got it? You know the difference between spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis and spermiation, right? Yes. Meiotic division of the secondary oocyte is completed. The meiotic division of the secondary oocyte is completed. Is it the time of copulation, after zygote formation, at the time of fusion of the sperm with an ovum, or prior to the ovulation? Huh? Option C. So at the time of fusion of sperm with an ovum, like before the fusion, actually meiotic division takes place, like complete meiotic division takes place before the fusion of sperm, just before the fusion of sperm into the nucleus of ovum. When the sperm enter the zona pellucida, when it triggers the second meiotic division, where the secondary oocyte will be divided into the ovum, the egg, the female gamete, and another one will be polar body, which will be degenerated. So that is the complete meiotic division of the secondary oocyte takes place. Understood? So which would be at the time of the fusion of sperm and ovum, which means before the fusion it takes place. Select the correct option of haploid cells from the following groups. Did you understood this previous question? Any doubts regarding this? Yes. Select the correct option for haploid cells. You need to find out the haploid cells, okay? Haploid cells. Secondary spermatocyte, definitely it's a haploid. First polar bodies are haploid. Ovum is haploid. So we got it. A as a correct answer. We'll see. Spermatogonia is diploid, which enlarge and become primary spermatocyte. Primary spermatocyte is also diploid because it undergo first meiotic division. Spermatid is haploid. So this is wrong. We need to find all the haploid. Primary spermatocyte is there, which is diploid. Primary oocyte is there, which is also diploid. So all these are wrong and only A is the correct answer. Understood? extrusion of second polar body from egg nucleus occurs, which means they are asking about the second meiosis, the completion of second meiosis 2 before the entry of sperm into the ovum. After the अरे यार इतना कंफ्यूज क्यों हो रहे हो बच्चों, बताओ बताओ. So it happens after the entry of the sperm but before the fusion, understanding, because till now it, see for example there will be primary oocyte. Okay, I'll tell you, primary oocyte, these will be developed in the embryonic stage only. Okay, by at birth इतना होता है. Okay, what these will be, actually these will be arrested in the diplotin stage. Diplotin stage में this will be arrested. This is primary oocyte. This primary oocyte at puberty undergo changes. Okay, from diplotin it goes on next stages. Okay, so here if this is a primary oocyte, if this is a primary oocyte, the formation of follicles around, okay, takes place, primation of follicles. So we call it as primary follicle. Then again this undergo changes, again follicles, because FSH will be released at this point of time, FSH. Okay, again it is primary oocyte only, again this undergo changes. Okay, so it adds on, the follicles will be follicular stages going on adding, this become secondary follicle. Okay, next when it becomes a tertiary follicle, here at this particular stage it undergo first completion, meiotic division will be completed. Okay, now it undergo meiosis, I mean till here first meiotic division completes, meiosis 1 completes, which means now if this is a tertiary follicle, you can see secondary oocyte and the first polar body. This is a secondary oocyte. This is a secondary oocyte. This is a secondary. No, okay. This is a secondary oocyte, a big one, and this is a polar body which will be degenerated. With this, you can see fluid filled cavity here. With this, okay, this is a tertiary follicle. The first meiotic division, the first meiosis 1 completes, or first meiotic division completes, you can say. Okay, so this is a secondary oocyte and a polar body. Tertiary follicle, otherwise you can call it as tertiary follicle, otherwise you can call it as secondary oocyte, tertiary follicle. Now again it adds, the granulosa cells goes on adding in the Graafian follicle stage. Will be lot of layers. Okay, here follicular stage, all are. This is also Graafian follicle. This particular stage we call it as Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle. In this you can see this fluid filled cavity, and also you can see the secondary oocyte here. With that you can see a layer of, you can see the layer of zona pellucida forming with this. Understanding? The zona pellucida, this layer is called zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. Now it is a secondary oocyte. Oh, the ovulation takes place after this. So we are coming from here, okay? I'm sorry for little being hodgepodge. Yes. Here ovulation takes place. Ovulation. When ovulation takes place, the Graafian follicle ruptures, and now it will be coming out as this secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte will be coming out, and you can see the zona pellucida also here. The zona pellucida. Zona pellucida layer. So you can see this here, the meiosis 1 completes. Here the meiosis 2 is going on here, meiosis 2. This secondary oocyte is arrested at metaphase 2. Okay, this is arrested at metaphase 2. This was arrested here, it was arrested at diplotin, isn't it? These were arrested at diplotin. So here the secondary oocyte, this is not ovum yet, this is not ovum, this is just a secondary oocyte, which is the secondary oocyte is being released out of that Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle will go and become the corpus luteum, okay, and this secondary oocyte will go to the, now it will be captured from the fimbriae, then it goes to the infundibulum, and it goes to the, where? The fallopian tube or ampulla, you can call it as ampulla. Now when it is in the ampulla or in the fallopian tube, midsection, it expects sperm, okay. When the sperm, in this particular stage, when the sperm come and fuses, when the sperm come and fuses is when it before fusion, what it does, it come and attach in the receptors of zona pellucida. In the receptors, there will be receptors, okay, that goes and attach to the receptors of zona pellucida here. It is not like the entire sperm is getting inside, no, only the nucleus goes inside. So it comes and bind with the receptors in the zona pellucida at that particular time, before here it is secondary oocyte, right? Before the fertilization, here it goes on something changes called the zona pellucida layer only leave one sperm inside, not multiple sperm cannot go and fertilize the egg at the same time. So it goes on the conformational change here, which make the rigid, I mean the ovum non-entry for the other sperms which are coming at the simultaneously. So here what happens when it goes inside at this particular time before the fusion, the second meiotic division completes. Division completes. It was arrested in metaphase 2, right? Now the second meiotic division completes, which gave rise to this one egg cell, another one second polar body. This is second polar body. Understanding? This is egg cell, not cell, the nucleus, and it will give rise, another one will be second polar body. This nucleus which is there here, the sperm, it will fuse with the egg. The nucleus of the sperm fuses with the egg, and this thing now becomes zygote. The result of the fertilization of the sperm, the nucleus of the sperm and the egg results in the zygote, formation of zygote. This zygote will next develop into embryo. Any doubts in this? So here you can say that after the entry of the sperm but before the fertilization, is it correct? Before the entry of the sperm it doesn't. Second meiotic division completes only when the receptors of the zona pellucida receive the sperm. Understanding? When it come inside but it yet to fertilize with the egg, because still the second meiotic division has not taken place. This is still the secondary oocyte only, it is not ovum. In some of the textbook, like previous year textbook, if the textbook is old NCERT, in there you can see this, after ovulation you can see there written ovum, still not ovum. This egg is a ovum. After completion of the second meiotic division only it becomes ovum. This is still the secondary oocyte. So just make a changes in your textbook and write secondary oocyte in there, not ovum. From the ovary, the Graafian follicle ruptures and releases, right? They written ovum. It is not the ovum actually, it is a secondary oocyte. When it will become ovum? It will become ovum at the end, right before the fertilization, after the entry of the sperm. Any doubts? No. Okay. So it is after the entry of the sperm, before the fertilization. A is the correct answer. The difference between spermiogenesis and spermiation. What do you mean by spermiogenesis? Spermiogenesis means conversion, the process of spermatids becoming spermatozoa. What is spermiation? Releasing of sperm into seminiferous lumen, seminiferous tubule or lumen of seminiferous tubule. Now tell me, spermiogenesis, spermatids are formed. In spermiogenesis, spermatids are formed. No, actually spermatozoa are formed. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa are formed, correct? While in spermiation, spermatid are formed. No. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa from the Sertoli cells are released into the cavity of seminiferous tubule. That is called ulta, it has written. Yes. Oh no, correct. Wait. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa. No. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa are formed, correct? While in the spermiation, spermatozoa are released from the Sertoli cell into the cavity of the seminiferous tubule. D for Delhi is the correct answer. Any doubts? Which of the following cells during gametogenesis is normally diploid? Which one is diploid? Spermatogonia, diploid. First polar body, second polar body, haploid. Primary polar body, haploid. Spermatid, haploid. We got the answer. Yes, A. Very good. Which is the correct sequence of sperm formation? Spermatogonia, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, spermatid and spermatozoa. We got it first. Easy. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as reason. Okay, assertion. During menstrual cycle, the ovulation takes place approximately on 14th day. Correct. The rapid secretion of LH in the middle of menstrual cycle induces rupture of Graafian follicle and thereby release of ovum. Release of ovum or okay, in or secondary oocyte you can write. It is 2024 only. Previous it is written as ovum only in the textbook. Fine, but you know it as it's a secondary oocyte. Is it correct? Yes, it is correct. Okay, so both are correct. Is it the correct explanation? During menstrual cycle, the ovulation takes place approximately on the 14th day because rapid secretion of LH in the middle of the menstrual cycle induces rupture of Graafian follicle and thereby release the ovum. Yes. Given below are two statements. Fine. FSH acts upon ovarian follicles in female and Leydig cells in male. FSH acts on Sertoli cells in male ne. FSH acts on Sertoli cells. Helps in spermiogenesis. Okay. Who acts on a Leydig cell? I told you L for L, which means LH. Luteinizing hormone acts on Leydig cell. LL ऐसे याद रखना L Leydig cell SL LH. तो wrong है. Growing ovarian follicle secretes estrogen in female while interstitial cell secrete androgen in male human being. Correct or wrong? Correct. So A is false, R is true. B for Bombay is the correct answer. Which of the following statements are correct regarding female reproductive cycle? In non-primate mammal, cyclic changes occurs. Cyclic changes during reproduction are called estrous cycle. Give thumbs up. If it is correct, give thumbs up. If it is wrong, give thumbs down. Okay. I want everybody to participate. This is correct. First menstrual cycle begins at puberty and is called menopause. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. Cyclic menstruation extends between menarche and menopause. So it is A, C, D are correct. A is the correct answer. Which of the following hormone levels will cause release of ovulation? Which of the following hormone level will cause release of ovulation from the Graafian follicle? Low SH, low FSH, no. High concentration progesterone, no. It is the release of progesterone will be done by this thing, corpus luteum. So high concentration of estrogen. In the middle of the cycle, if there is a cycle, the FSH and LH, if this is the 14th day, the ovulation day, FSH and LH, isn't it? And if you see the estrogen here, estrogen is also high. This is estrogen. It is also high in the, if you see, on the 14th day. So, high concentration of estrogen. D for Delhi is the correct answer. A temporary endocrine gland in the human body is, pineal gland is a pea-sized gland, endocrine gland is a permanent, right? Corpus cardiacum, no. Corpus allatum, no. What are these two actually, do you know? See, corpus luteum, it produces progesterone. Corpus cardiacum and corpus allatum, actually these are the things which are present in insects. Moth, it helps in undergoing metamorphosis in them. So these are not present in human beings. Only corpus luteum is present in the human beings, and It is the one which is actually temporary endocrine gland. It is the one which is producing progesterone, isn't it? It's a temporary endocrine gland. Changes in gonadotropin releasing hormone pulse frequency in female is controlled by circulating levels of, tell me. So actually there is a feedback mechanism, okay. So if you see on the 14th day, the ovulation day, what happens? The this thing will be, LH will be surge, LH surge will be there, as well as FSH will also be at the high concentration. And if you see, only during this particular time only these things will be highest. Otherwise, LSH and FSH are in the lowest other days. Why? Because here this gives the indication to gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is hypothalamus, to stop producing FSH and LH. Because till here only, till here, that is primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, Graafian follicle, only here this follicles should form, follicles. After that, follicle should not form. The ovum has to, or the secondary oocyte has to release. Understanding? That will be taken place, will be done by who? Estrogen and progesterone. Understanding? Because here also estrogen and progesterone. If you see, these will be giving the negative feedback here to the gonadotropin releasing hormone pulse frequency to stop producing LH and FSH. The hypothalamus to produce the gonadotropin releasing hormone. This in turn give the pituitary to not release. If this gonadotropin releasing hormone is there, not there, then FSH and LH will also be not there. Understanding? Which means the hypothalamus will get the signal from the estrogen and progesterone telling after ovulation don't produce the FSH and LH. For not producing FSH and LH, we have to stop producing GnRH. Any doubt? Did I confuse you? Thank you. Yes. So, if the pituitary should not produce FSH and LH, gonadotropin releasing hormone should not produce. So, hypothalamus should get the signal telling negative inhibition. Okay. In a sense, negative feedback mechanism, that is inhibition. That is estrogen and progesterone does this. Which of the following events is not associated with ovulation in human female? Full development of Graafian follicle should be there. Release of secondary oocyte, that is written as ovum, and LS surge should also be there. Decrease in estradiol. Estradiol is a estrogen. Actually, that particular this thing is there, right? The graph. It is like starting menstrual phase, then follicular stage, then ovulatory stage, then luteal, ovulation phase, luteal phase, that particular graph. It is very, very important, okay. Each and every point in it, each and everything which is represented there is very, very important. Go through it again. Decrease in estradiol. If you see, in ovulation, the estradiol or estrogen, it is at the peak. It is not decreasing, actually it is increasing, which means D4L is a correct answer. Any doubts? Menstrual flow occurs due to the lack of Is it has anything to do with the vasopressin? No. It has anything to do with the oxytocin? No. Follicular stimulating hormone? No. Progesterone. Actually, what happens if the pregnancy doesn't takes place? What happens to the corpus luteum? Corpus luteum degenerates. If the corpus luteum degenerates, will there be any progesterone secreting from there? No progesterone. If there is no progesterone, will the endometrium layer still be there? No, it degenerates. Which hormone is the one which is maintaining the endometrium layer and expecting the pregnancy? It is progesterone. If progesterone is not there, if the corpus luteum degenerates and if it is not producing the progesterone, then who will maintain the endometrium layer? Nobody is going to maintain the endometrium layer, which means if progesterone is not there, then endometrium layer will not be maintained. If endometrium layer is not maintained, it will come out as a menstrual flow. Understood? Fertilization, implantation and pregnancy. Okay. This particular part we are solving the question. Endometrium is necessary for implantation of blastocyst. Thumbs up or thumbs down? In the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates, that causes disintegration of endometrium. True. Is it the correct reason? Just see. Endometrium is necessary for implantation of blastocyst because in the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates, that causes disintegration of endometrium. So, both A and R are true, but it is not the correct explanation. C is the correct answer. Very good. Receptors for sperm binding in mammals present on. I told you when I was explaining you about the primary and secondary oocyte. Yes, very good, very good. It is zona pellucidum. Which of the following secretes the hormone relaxin during the later phase of the pregnancy? During the latest stage of the pregnancy, the relaxin hormone is released, okay, which relaxes the pelvic symphysis, like relaxing the pelvic girdle bones for easy passage of the fetus, like for the pasteurization, okay, for the pasteurization. So, at the later part of the pregnancy, it is not fetus which is producing the not uterus, not the Graafian follicles. It is actually corpus luteum, which will be producing the hormone relaxin in the later part of the pregnancy. Understood? It is the corpus luteum which is producing the hormone relaxin. Understood? Yes. Relaxin. Corpus luteum. Hormone name is relaxin, which relaxes, for example, at the later part of the pregnancy. Later part of the pregnancy means for the pasteurization or the delivery of the baby. What happens? The pelvic girdle bones are there, right? So, you have learnt about this one. Pelvic symphysis. There is a connective tissue between two, this side and this side. There is a connective tissue between these two. So, that actually becomes flexible. So, in order to make everything flexible and relax, this relaxin is produced during the pasteurization. Understanding? So, for that, which releases relaxin, it is corpus luteum which releases the relaxin hormone. In human beings, at the end of 12 weeks, that is first trimester of pregnancy, the following is observed. Most of the major organs are formed, yes, in the first trimester. Yes, the head is covered with a fine hair. This is in the fifth month, right? First trimester 13 weeks, in a sense 3 months. 3 months. So this is wrong. Anyway, we got it. Movement of the fetus, eyelids and eyelashes are formed. It is also in the 5th month. So most of the major organ systems are formed in the first trimester, especially heart. In the first month itself, the heart formation begins. So A is the correct answer. The hormones secreted by the placenta to maintain pregnancy are HCG, HPL, progesterone. Is it prolactin, placenta? No. HCG, HPL, estrogen, relaxin, oxytocin. Oxytocin is not produced, relaxin also not. HCG, HPL, progesterone, estrogen. Yes, HPG, progesterone, estrogen, glucocorticoids, out of nowhere. Okay. So it is HCG, HPL and progesterone and estrogen is secreted by placenta to maintain pregnancy. The amnion of mammalian embryo is derived from, the amnion actually it is derived from the ectoderm and mesoderm. Ectoderm and mesoderm of, in triploblastic there are 3 layers, right? Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So amniotic fluid or amnion of the mammalian embryo, so amnion of the mammalian embryo is derived from the ectoderm and mesoderm. It's just a factual question. Several hormones like HCG, HPL, estrogen, progesterone are produced by, same question in ulta way. They asked which, the placenta will be producing which and all hormone. Now they have asked these hormones are produced by which part, that is placenta. Identify the correct statement on inhibin. What inhibin does? Actually it inhibits the this one release of FSH. Inhibits the secretion of LH, FSH and prolactin. It is produced by the granulosa cells. It is produced by the, to inhibit the secretion of FSH. It is produced by the granulosa cells in ovary and inhibits the secretion of LH. Is produced by nerve cells in testis and inhibits the secretion of LH. 40. So as I already told, inhibin inhibits the release of FSH, inhibits. Release of FSH only. Okay. So it is produced by granulosa cells. What are these granulosa cells? This follicular cells which will be forming, right? They produce the inhibin in the ovary and inhibits the secretion of FSH. Why? Because after ovulation, formation of follicles around it is not required, because that Graafian follicle, the Graafian follicle which release the secondary oocyte, that Graafian follicle should undergo changes to become corpus luteum. We don't want any other further follicles around it. So if we don't want follicles, we need to stop follicular stimulating hormone. Who is going to stop the follicular stimulating hormone? It will be inhibin will inhibit the release of follicular stimulating hormone. Understanding? So this is a before bombing. Estrogen also does. Okay, previously I have told you estrogen also does. Estrogen does both, luteinizing hormone also, follicle stimulating hormone also. Inhibit. A fertilization in human is practically feasible only if, okay, the sperms are transported into vagina just after the release of ovum in the fallopian tube. The ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube. the ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to ampullary isthmic junction of the cervix. The sperms are transported into cervix within 48 hours of release of ovum in uterus. Tell me. Yes? B. Very good. Very good, Chris. Because B is the correct answer. We know that the ovum and the sperm are transported simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube. The thing is, why not the first one? The sperms are transported into vagina just after the release of ovum. Just after the release of ovum, it takes 1 or 2 days to come to the ampullary isthmic junction. So, just after the release of ovum, it is not still captured from the fimbriae and it is not still in the fallopian tube. So, if there is no ovum in the fallopian tube, there is no fertilization. This is correct. The ovum and the sperms are transported simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic junction of the cervix. No. And release of the ovum in the uterus. No. So, easy. With the elimination also we can do this question. B4 Bombay is the correct answer. In human female, meiosis 2 is not completed until. So many questions regarding this. Meiosis 2 is not completed until fertilization, uterine implantation, birth, puberty. Until fertilization, in a sense, here before fusion, after entry of sperm. Okay, or after entry of the sperm, before fusion यहाँ लिखती हूँ. After entry of the sperm and before fusion. Okay, before fusion with the egg. Okay, fusion with the egg. So it is 42. Right answer is yes, A. Fertilization, 2015 question. Okay, not exactly in the fertilization. You got it right. If we see all the 4 options, we can only take fertilization, but still not fertilization, because for the fertilization to take place, it should be in the haploid condition, which means the meiosis 2 has to happen before the fertilization. So we can say after the entry of the sperm and before the fusion, the human female secondary oocyte undergo complete meiosis. Which of the following layers in an antral follicle is acellular? Which is acellular? That all the follicular cells, we call it as cells, right? So they are definitely cellular. Now acellular is granulation cells, follicular cells, theca interna, theca externa, or that follicular layers. Like for example, tertiary follicle mein 3 layers of follicular layer is there. The innermost is theca interna, the outermost is theca externa. Zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is just a glycoprotein. It's just a glycoprotein. It's not cell. It's not any kind of cells are not present. Not cellular. It is acellular. So it is zona pellucida. Select the correct option describing gonadotrophin activity in a normal pregnant female. High level of HCG stimulate the thickening of endometrium. High level of FSH and LH stimulate the thickening of endometrium. High level of FSH and LH facilitate implantation of the embryo. High level of HCG stimulates the synthesis of estrogen and progesterone. Tell me. High level of HCG stimulates the thickening of endometrium. Thickening of endometrium is done by mainly by progesterone. The high level of FSH and LH stimulate. FSH and LH doesn't have any role here. High level of FSH and LH. Okay. High level of HCG stimulates the synthesis of estrogen and progesterone. So all are maintaining in coordination, right? Placenta, especially this thing in a normal pregnant woman, this release HCG, HPL, then estrogen and progesterone. So all this maintain the levels. HCG stimulates the synthesis of estrogen and progesterone. Everything maintains the level in proper level for maintaining the pregnancy. So it is D for Delhi is the correct answer. Pasteurization and lactation. Match. Pasteurization means, okay, pasteurization happens because of the fetal ejaculation reflex. So, sorry, fetal ejection reflex. I am sorry, yeah. Fetal ejection reflex. Placenta secrete the hormone HCG. Colostrum is a milk. Yeah, several antibodies for newborn babies, especially the antibodies like IgA, okay, immunoglobulins. And fimbriae, collection of ovum after ovulation or collection of secondary oocyte after the ovulation. So A3, you can delete these two, B4, C1, A is the correct answer. Assertion, breastfeeding during initial period of infant growth is recommended by doctors for bringing a healthy baby. Colostrum contains several antibodies absolutely essential to develop resistance for the newborn baby. So is it the correct reason? Breastfeeding is during the initial period of the infant growth is recommended by the doctors for bringing a healthy baby because colostrum contains several antibiotics absolutely essential to develop resistance for the newborn baby. So C is the correct answer. Which of these is not an important component of initiation of pasteurization in humans? Synthesis of prostaglandin, release of oxytocin, release of prolactin, increase in estrogen and progesterone ratio. So synthesis of prostaglandins are required. Release of oxytocin definitely required. It is the one which is contracting the smooth muscles in the uterus. Increase in estrogen and progesterone ratio is required. Release of prolactin, it is not required for the initiation of pasteurization. Okay, so C is the correct answer. The first menstruation is called, it is 2025 question. Menarche. And find the correct statements. In human pregnancy, the major organ system are formed at the end of 12 weeks. 12 weeks in the sense it is 3 months, first trimester. 3 months. We did the previous question. Yes, true. In human pregnancy, the major organ system are formed at the end of 8 weeks. It is 12 weeks. So which means 8 weeks? Wrong. In human pregnancy, heart is formed after the 1 month of gestation. True. Around like 4 weeks. True. In human pregnancy, limbs and digits develop by the end of 2nd month. By the end of 2nd month, in a sense, 8 weeks. True. In human pregnancy, the appearance of hair usually observed in the 5th month. True. So only B is not there. A, C, D, E is the correct answer. Any doubts? Okay, we did almost 13 years of PYQs regarding human reproduction chapter. I hope everybody understood it. Any doubt regarding this, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can end the class. Ovulation, it is a release of ovum or secondary oocyte. Ovulation, actually it is a release of secondary oocyte. Ovum, what do you call ovum? After the complete meiosis, after the completion of meiosis 2, that is ovum. The ovum which fuses with the egg, fuses with the sperm, fuses with the sperm, that is ovum. But in NCERT it is given as, ovulation means the ovum is released. But you know, right, it is actually the complete meiosis has not taken place yet. Only it is arrested in the secondary oocyte is arrested in metaphase 2. The secondary oocyte is arrested in meiosis, metaphase 2. So how do you call it as ovum now? Because still the completion of meiosis 2 has to happen. The completion of meiosis 2 only happens when the entry of sperm takes place into the zona pellucida and before fertilization. Just before the fertilization, completion of second meiosis takes place. At that particular time, release of second polar body and egg, that is ovum, will be taking place, isn't it? But NCERT mein it is ovulation, the ovum is released given, fine. But as a concept, you need to know it is just secondary oocyte. Any doubts, or did I confuse you? Yeah. Thank you so much. So any doubt? So in some of the previous question you can see that it is given ovum, but I think in the latest one they might have changed into secondary oocyte maybe. So okay, if there is no doubt you can leave the call. So this is the end of the class, and thank you so much everybody for attending the class, and that's it. Thank you.